So, you came here because you like Borderlands. And quite frankly, you might not even know what the hell Villainous is. Villainous is a card game slash board game. There's boards, but it's mostly a card game. You pick a villain from various Disney properties like Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, and you can play as them in this card game, and then it's a competitive game where you fight each other and you gotta do your villainous goals before the other person does, and you can thwart them by throwing heroes at them. Now, normally in Villainous, there's 3 different sections or 3 different type of games of it, and it's Marvel, Disney, and Star Wars, and all 3 are not really compatible with each other, and they all have different rule sets. I'm most familiar with the Marvel one, so Borderlands Villainous is going to be pretty much the same thing as Marvel. I got 2 variations of this game, alright? We got the Tabletop Simulator game that I'm on right now. And then I have the printable version for you, also down below in the link in the description, where pretty much I got my Google Drive of pretty much everything that I've used in this game. It's in the Google Drive. I got the cards, I got the back of the cards, I got little printables for you, so if you print out a piece of paper, you can just cut it all out and then you can play it with paper. Or if you're crazy and you got those card making machines, then I also got those as well. I got all the assets you need to make this card game in that Google Drive in the link in the description, but I'm going to show off a little bit in Tabletop Simulator just so you can get a gist of what this is all about. Alright, so for starters, this is the basic board. Over here, I do have the basic Villainous guide for specifically Marvel, kind of a link in here so you can just scroll down if you have any very specific questions. The Marvel variation has different heroes, but all the general rules like game overview, turn actions, and all that are going to be the exact same, and all of the general rules are the same. The only difference is that you've got different villains that I have separate guides for. You got the Dragon Lord, you got the Bandits, you got General Knox, Calypso Twins, and of course Handsome Jack. So whoever you're playing, you can just take a look at this, press Alt, and you can just get it all over your screen so you can read it however you like. And it's Tabletop Simulator, so you can scale it down if you really want to, if you want it right next to your board when it's really small. So you can just have it right next to your board, hover over it, press Alt so you can get a little refresher on what your goal is, and then just keep playing like that. Of course, over at the printables, I do have the full page. It's an entire paper, so it does take up an entire page. Can't resize it in real life. I'm sorry. Well, let's go over. I'm gonna go over Handsome Jack this video. You can figure out the rest if you decide to play it on your own, but we're gonna mainly cover Handsome Jack because he is the most iconic villain of Borderlands. But basic rules first, though. You got your board, you got your money, which is your power. You got the fate deck, which is going to get mixed into this general fate deck. The reason this is in the middle is because... Oh, I just shuffled it. The reason this is in the middle is because it will be pretty much one fate deck for all of everyone. And everyone who's playing will have their fate deck mixed into this fate deck. So I would mix this in to here, and I would just shuffle it a little bit. And then it would be shuffled into the general fate deck. So you have a chance at being a counter to specifically Handsome Jack. You don't have to play it on Handsome Jack. You can play it on anyone if someone plays a fate card that is countering you, but it does hurt you the most if they play it on. And how to play that is all these actions. Every time you move to a space, at the beginning of your turn, you will move to a space. You have available 4 actions, and you can either gain money. That's a power money, so you would gain 3 power just for you. You can play a card, and so you would always draw up to 4 at the beginning of every turn. So I didn't shuffle this, but let's say this was my hand. So if I had enough money, I could just pay 2 power. This is the currency at the top left. You can play it in your allies, with your allies part, and then the hero part, because when someone plays a fate action on you, they can play... That's not a hero. This is an effect that'll do something crazy to you. But yeah, they can play a hero like Maya, covering 2 of your actions. So when you move to this space, you can't perform those 2 actions. You have to vanquish this hero with an ally that's equal or greater amount of strength. And the way you do that is with these vanquish actions. You go over here, vanquish, and then you have that action on the when it's your turn. This will be discarded, and so will Maya. You got your relocate actions. When you're on this space, you can relocate only one ally to any space you want. So I can just move this angelic loader over to Helio Station if I wanted to. And if I move to somewhere like here, I have more actions, so I can do an activate ability. So if I had a card like the Constructor here, I'd be able to pay 2 power with this activate ability, and I'd be able to get a bot from my discard pile. This card name has the bot, so I can add it to my hand after I pay the appropriate 2 power, and I now picked up a card from my discard pile. So that's how the activate ability works. Then you have the fate action, which the fate action allows you to draw a card from the fate deck playing out on a different player. I got Mad Moxie. Cost play items are increased by 1 in this domain. You put it on pretty much any other player that is playing. So I can put it on the Calypso Twins and cover up a little bit of their money so they'd have less income. And then if I go to a spot like this, I have this, which allows me to discard. I can just discard pretty much my whole hand if I wanted to, and then at the end of my turn, I would draw up to 4, so at the end of every single one of your turns, I draw 4 cards. I forgot to mention, this usually is face down, so you don't know what's coming next. My bad. Alright, well, I think that's enough for the basic rules. I'm going to move on to how actually Handsome Jack plays. Alright, so these are the 3 cards you need to win. You need to be able to play Angel, who costs 6 power, over at Control Core. You need to attach Iridium Ejectors to her. As an item, you can attach it to an item, and they gain +2 strength, but they're also Iridium Ejectors, so that you can also play the Vault Key, also at the same location, which is the Control Core. And once this happens, you can actually pay on an activate ability to pay 4 power to place a charge token on here, so you use that to pay 4 power, and then you have a charge token on the Vault Key. Then you have to go do something else, and then go back here, get another activate ability, pay another 4 power for this, and then you have to move over to this one of these 2 relocate actions to relocate the Vault Key over to the Vault of the Warrior. And then once that happens, the Warrior is already up here and he's uncontrolled, and then he's controlled, and then you win the game. It seems really simple. There's a few rules to Jack that you should know, and one is, if there is a hero on the Vault of the Warrior, you cannot control the Warrior, therefore you cannot win the game. So you have to clear out this area. You have to clear out this... You have to clear out this area of heroes before you can do that. You can still move the Vault of the Warrior over here, but you do have to clear out heroes before you can control the Warrior. And the only way to do that is to get some allies, not that. You can get some allies over here, and you can get like a badass loader bot, and you'd have to use your 1 Vanquish action. And the thing is, he only has 1 Vanquish action, but he does have some cards in his deck that will allow him to actually Vanquish without a Vanquish action. Such as Business Tactics. So if this place is covered up by a hero and you can't Vanquish, you can try and pull this card, gain a Vanquish action, but use a Vanquish action with an ally with less strength than that targeted hero, and you can do that with a play card action. And then you can go ahead and Vanquish whatever hero is on this space, and then they get vanquished, and then you can control the Warrior, and you can still win the game. So there are some obstacles you can have, and there's some even really tough obstacles as well that set you back. You have these 2 fake cards that specifically counter you. Move one of the target allies to the hero side of their domain, so you can actually get Angel as an ally, and then you have to vanquish her, and then go through your deck again to actually get Angel back. Or this one, which is either remove an item or an ally from the targeted domain, so they can remove either ally or Angel to the discard pile, or they can even put the Vault Key into the discard pile, meaning you'd have to get through your pile again to get those 2 cards back. And this is only one of them though, so they can only remove 1, but if they do both of these, then you lose both. But you gotta be pretty unlucky for someone to play both of those on you with 1. So again, just some setup, right? You're gonna flip this over, you're gonna shuffle it a few times, and then you're going to put this in with the basic fake deck. So this will also get put into this, and then whoever you're playing with, like let's say you're playing with Irene and Troy, they're going to also mix their fake deck in here. And you're going to flip that over, shuffle it, and they're going to shuffle their deck. That's cut. They're going to shuffle their deck, and then you would then draw 4 cards. Alright, so both players drew 4 cards, and now they can actually begin who starts. Whoever starts first has 0 power, whoever starts second will gain 1 power, and then the third player will gain 2 power, and then everyone beyond that will also gain 2 power. So when you start first, you can go wherever you want, do whatever you want, and then play your cards, play your actions, and then they'll go, and then the cycle will continue. Everyone has their own little special setup, like Calypso Twins have their own special setup, and so does the Dragon Lord, and everyone's got their own rules for you to learn and play. This is a very basic demo of this, alright? There's a lot more detailed instructions in the basic Marvel Villainous, and then I have more in here as well. So that's some basic setup, alright? And then heroes, one more thing I forgot to mention, these tokens, alright, these are +1 and -1 tokens, these are strength tokens. They can go on either allies or heroes, so these can do like -1 on a hero or +1 on a strength, and that would be, this would push up to 5, and this would make it down to 5. And a lot of cards can either debuff heroes or buff your allies, so that's cool. And I think that is a very basic demonstration of how this game can work. Again, more detailed instructions are in here if you have any like general specific questions. And I think that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to, again, link in the description for the Tabletop Simulator workshop for this. And also to the Google Drive with everything in there you need to either make cards or print out some paper and then cut it all out. thank you for watching, and hope you guys enjoy the game, and see you later.